Okay, y'all, I keep having notifications that pop up on my screen, so if you see me come towards y'all, just excuse that because things are popping up on the screen and I can't see your comments if I have stuff in the way. So I hope y'all are doing great. Today is going to be a how-to live. This is going to be pretty interesting. This is something that I have been doing for a really long time, is seed saving. And the really cool thing about seed saving is that not everything can be kept the same. So what I mean by that is tomatoes and squash per se. There are different ways. My napkin's gonna fly off, y'all, hold on. There are different ways. Hey guys, jumping on, thank y'all for jumping on. I was saying that I'm going to be doing a live today, so you're going to be watching me work. And this is something that I have been doing for a really long time at seed saving. And there are so many different, like I said, tomatoes and squash. So tomato, you can pretty well pick a tomato and get those seeds out right when you pick it. So a squash nearly has to, cucumbers are another one, nearly have to almost rot on the vine, and when they're yellow and mushy, you can go out and get your fruit and get your seeds out and dry them. And I'm going to go over all the things that I do today. I'm actually going to be digging into this pumpkin right here and this pumpkin right here. These are two that I have left. I have already, if you've seen my picture jumping on or my post in the community post today, I already have hundreds of seeds from the pumpkins that I kept, and you guys are going to be blown away how easy this is. So those are things you can pretty much get from season to season. However, there are some things like parsley, carrots are two that I think of that don't produce seeds until every 2 years. So I have been doing this for a really long time and I absolutely love it. I'm sometimes not as diligent in keeping seeds as much as I want to be, but it is something nonetheless that I love to do. I've been doing it for a long time. Thanks to everybody that's jumping on. I want to go ahead and recommend, though, at the beginning of my video, this book. This is called Seed to Seed, and this is where I learned a lot of my stuff from, because it goes through all the different seeds. If you say you have a pepper, okay, you can look up in the back of the book, you can flip to the pepper, and it's going to tell you all the things that you need to know for peppers. So it's pretty cool. Like I told y'all, I learned a lot from this. I say don't get overwhelmed all at first, because I wanted to do everything, save all the seeds from everything all at one time. So I'm just speaking to y'all from experience. It can get very overwhelming because, like I told y'all, carrots and tomatoes, you cannot harvest the seeds the same way, okay? Because you have to know that carrots only go to seed every 2 years. So if you plant a carrot, I always establish either a plant or a section that I'm gonna let go to seed. I actually, y'all, have 2 beds that I have planted spinach in, and I let lettuce go to seed last year after we were kind of done with it. It was starting to bolt, right? I just let the things go to seed, y'all. I have volunteer lettuce growing everywhere in my beds. I really didn't do anything but shake so when the lettuce bolts, it goes up, produces little flowers. The flowers kind of die back and put off these like white fuzzies. And what those are for is because the wind blows, it catches those white fuzzies and carries the seed to be transplanted, wind blown by wind. So I said all that to say, it took me a long time to learn all the things that I've learned. So I would suggest you not to fall in the same boat that I did and get completely overwhelmed, because it's very easy to do. Pick something that you want to learn how to keep, or maybe 2 or 3 things. Say, I want to learn how to keep this, this, and this. In this growing season, I'm going to grow it. I'm going to learn how I need to let it go to seed. And then I'm gonna collect those seeds, but that's not the end of it. Drying them well, storing them is just as important as collecting them. So this book, I found this book to be very, very, very handy. I'm going to show you guys again because I have some more people that have jumped on Seed to Seed. And it is just a great start to finish. Peas, beans, thinking about cross-pollination. So if you plant 2 or 3 different varieties in one place, the pollinators are going to come to one flower, to the next flower, to the next flower, and pollinate all of them. And that DNA is going to be basically put in that seed. So that seed that you get from that fruit, when you plant those seeds, may put off a similar fruit, but it might not be what you thought it was going to be because it had been cross-pollinated and you got the seed from a cross-pollinated fruit. So just some things to think about, because this book is absolutely loaded with information, y'all. So Seed to Seed, it is a great book. But I think seed keeping is so important. We have purchased a lot of seeds over our years. I personally really, really like Survival Garden seeds. We have met the owner. If you need a place to go to start, but this is what I really, really loved about Jason when we met him. He said, you know, we really want to be the people that sees people benefit from this homestead movement and what we do. And I was like, Jason, I know that y'all are good people and you love what you do and you have a passion for people learning, because who else puts seed saving instructions on their packages? So every seed, hey guys, y'all, thank y'all so much for jumping on. Every seed packet that you get from Survival Garden Seed literally will tell you if it's an annual seed keeping thing or if it's a biennial, every other year. So, or biannual. Yeah, I think it's called biannual on the seed keeping. So every packet, y'all, it tells you exactly what to do. That, to me, in my opinion, is just absolutely too cool. So pumpkins are really, oh, I moved my knife. Pumpkins are really easy. When I say easy, I mean really easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this pumpkin open if you guys are all ready to watch this. I think that's gonna fly off, so I better go ahead and just flip it right now. But I'm gonna give y'all some tips and tricks, not just with pumpkins, but with lots of things for starters. I'll just go ahead and talk about this right now. So this is what I'm gonna be putting my pumpkin seeds on. And the reason why, this is one of my dehydrator trays, even though I'm not putting them in the dehydrator. This is mesh, which allows the seeds to breathe from the top and the bottom. You can just get regular wax paper and put it on a tray. You just have to be very, very diligent to come in and run your hands and flip those seeds. And I'll show y'all how to do all that in a minute. But this is a better option if you have a dehydrator tray that has small mesh like this. You can take, especially your bigger seeds, you can take them and pop them on this and they're getting airflow from the top and the bottom. Now, I do have a napkin out here because once I get the seeds out, I'm gonna clean them really well and put them on the napkin for just a couple of minutes, but you don't wanna leave them too long, because does anybody know what will happen if you leave them on a napkin? I'm just curious to see. We'll be watching the comments, y'all, as I cut my pumpkin and see if I get some, if somebody can get the right answer. Why would you not want to put them on a paper towel? Y'all give me some answers. They will stick. That is right. They will stick, and you will be fingernailing your seed off, trying not to harm the seed coat, which is on the outside, which you don't want to do. So wax paper is your best option, because you can take that wax paper, much like you can this, and maneuver it and the seeds will pop off. Now, I do like to put them over on a paper towel just for a couple of minutes to get as much water off of them as I can. And then I pop them right on that mesh strainer, because I want them to get some really good airflow. Let me turn y'all so y'all are not just getting a total side angle. All right, so I'm about to pop this pumpkin open. We'll bring it up here so y'all can see it. And you've got this ooey gooey in the middle. And y'all, literally, all I'm gonna do now is take a colander, like a little mesh strainer, and I'm putting all of this middle, I'm gonna try to leave back. See, when I put my hand in there, the seeds just literally float out. I'm gonna pull those out. You're gonna get some pumpkin guts, is what I call them, but try to leave those in and just run your hand down and guide those right out of that. Because one thing you don't want attached to your seed is a bunch of ooey gooey, because who can tell me what happens if you leave all of this ooey gooey on your seed? What's going to happen to your seed? Y'all are smart. I know y'all know the answer. Yes, they will stick really bad. They will dry literally. Yes, mold is the answer. And pumpkins are, I mean, seeds on a napkin is a big no-no in my book. So parchment paper, wax paper, anything like that. Silicone molds if you have flat ones. But if you have something like I just showed y'all, then good airflow is the best option. And yes, you don't want to leave any ooey gooey on your seeds because they will mold. You're right, they will rotten. And we're gonna get into all of that. So I'm just trying to take my hands and pull some of this out. If y'all have time, I want y'all, hello from New Orleans, I want y'all to go back to the Max, and I cannot remember what I named the video, but this is on our old channel about, yes, this is a pumpkin. I'm pulling seeds out of the pumpkins. I'm showing y'all live how to do seed keeping. Go back to the Max, which is now Colby's channel, and type in something along the lines of fall, Christmas, pumpkins, seed keeping, because I got my girls to do this for me several years ago. And when I was filming the girls, they were really, really little, y'all. And Eliza, which is my middle girl, put her hands in all of this and she started gagging, and I got all of it on film, and it was literally hilarious. So if y'all get a chance, go back and watch that. It was really, really funny. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my second one, y'all, because I don't want to wash these off until I get all the seeds. And since these are the same light yellow Cinderella pumpkins, I want to keep these seeds together. Now, another thing is, if you do have a different variety of seeds, you want to make note of that so that you can keep up with the different varieties. I just take an index card and like cut it in fourths or cut it in half, and write what variety it is on that. And then you'll know. You'll be able to keep up with what variety is what. So I had big jack-o'-lanterns. I had white and orange. I had green bumpy. Y'all don't ask me what the actual names for them are because I do not know. I called these the light Cinderella style. So they're not fully round. They have the pretty, little pretty grooves in them. One more side, and then the very next thing I'm going to do once I these are those pie pumpkins. Well, they're pumpkins. I think I am going to keep the ones that I just cut open and got out. I've never made a pumpkin pie, actually, because I don't really like pumpkin. The roasted pumpkin seeds are really good, and they're really good for you. And I will probably take a couple of those and roast those out. But Colby actually loves pumpkin pie. I just am not a big pumpkin eater. Some people will take these and cut them in slices and do different cooking things with them. We're just not big pumpkin eaters at our house. Like, we don't like cantaloupes and melons and watermelons, yes, but cantaloupes and like regular green melons, like we don't like those. So I look, I don't really get technical as far as, what are you doing up here, Nove? Did you come say hey? You see him? Boy, what are you doing? I don't really get technical in keeping them. Like, if I'm gonna get basil, he just wants to join the party, y'all. If I'm gonna go get basil, I usually will just take like a Ziploc bag or a brown paper sack and just get my flower heads and stick them over in there and shake them off and call it a day. Planting them with all the stuff straight from the bag, it works. So I don't add extra steps in there. Okay, now y'all, I have my pumpkin seeds in this mesh strainer, and I'm just going to literally wash them. That's all I want to do. I'm going to be digging in here and seeing these chunks. I'm just going to show you all what I'm talking about. These chunks that fell in, I'm just going to chunk them, okay? I don't want any of that stuff on my seeds because it will make your seeds rot. You don't want any extra ooey gooey on there. And this will take just a couple of minutes. And probably one of the most crucial parts of seed keeping. It's way more to it than just getting the seeds out. It is very easy, but there are steps you have to know, because as a lot of you guys had already said, yes, that's exactly what will happen. If you leave all of this on your seeds, they will rot. If your seeds do not have adequate airflow, your seeds will also rot. So it is very important that you take care of your seeds even after you've harvested them. Storing properly as well is very important, because you've done all the work to get the seeds out. You want to do the right steps to keep them viable, so that when you plant them next year, that they will indeed sprout. I actually had cut a couple open that I have already done, and some of them were already sprouting in the pumpkin. So that lets me know that they're good and ready for germination. You know, I'm going through, you can see my hands, I'm just going through and just kind of like basically pecking some of that stuff out and pulling my seeds off of that. And you won't be able to get like every single thing, but I'll tell you one thing that I did find is taking the seeds and just kind of squeezing them with my hand and rubbing them against that mesh strainer gets a lot of that pumpkin guts, that stringy pumpkin stuff out, and a lot of it sticks to the strainer and to your hand. So it's kind of easy to just take that and get it out. And you just want to make sure that your seeds feel real nice and clean. Hey, Anna, I dropped you something in the mail yesterday, so you'll be getting something from me very soon. Actually, if you want to post your stuff for your store, you go right ahead, because you have some really great things. And I ordered some stuff from Anna, which is Minzy's Garden. And y'all, a lot of that stuff is just going to fall right to the bottom of like my mesh strainer. So what I found is even when I take my hands and put it in there, see how it's sticking to my hands? A lot of that will stick to your hands. It will stick to the bottom of the strainer, and it really helps get it off of your seeds, because like I was telling y'all, you want to try to get your seeds as clean as possible so that bacteria from the guts and stuff doesn't mold your seeds. Yes, Nove was up here walking around a while ago. He jumped down. I don't know where he went, but he loves it outside. We're still putting him up in his kennel at night so that he doesn't get himself into trouble. He doesn't wander off, and nothing wanders up here to get him. So we are still keeping him in his kennel at night. Great, y'all, I'm to my next step. I'm gonna pop my dehydrator tray, like I told y'all, that has this real fine little seeds. Like this doesn't work. Tomato seeds, I don't even go there with this. Basil, you don't have to wash and dry. There's no ooey gooey on basil. Most of your flowering seeds will not require any washing or anything like that. It's mainly the ones that are like this, that are ooey gooey and nasty. You have to get your seeds out, get them really good and clean, and then get them dried. When I go out and harvest my basil or my lettuce seeds, anything like that, it's literally as easy as taking a brown paper sack, sticking those flower heads that are ready, because you're most of the time your plants have to fully be died off before your seeds are mature enough to harvest, so that you will have mature seeds planting in the ground and that they will germinate. So not all of them have to be done like this, which is why I recommended to a lot of you guys earlier the Seeds to Seeds book, because it literally breaks down everything for a seed you need to know. All right, now I'm gonna just very quickly put a paper towel down, drop my seeds right over on this paper towel. I hope y'all can see some of this. And you see that a lot of that gut's kind of stuck in that strainer, and the paper towel will help with some of this too. I just take my seeds and I'm just going to try to rub them around down on this paper towel for a minute and get as much water off of them as I can, because that just helps with the drying process. And you still see it's still sticking to my hands, which doesn't have to be, like I told y'all, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try to get as much out of there as you can. And still see, I'm still finding some. You just want to get that out. The paper towel will collect some of it. And we're almost done, and I'm going to give you guys another huge hint that will help you, that I learned to do, especially with these seeds that stay real wet or that you have to wash. So just kind of rub these in the paper towel, y'all. I think we're real good here. Now I'm just going to dump these over on this tray, because remember, I'm wanting airflow, so I'm using this tray. You wax paper, parchment paper, anything like that is fine. Do not use paper towels. I'm telling y'all now, do not put your seeds on paper towels to dry. You will have a hot mess, and it will likely damage your seed coat, because the seeds will dry into the paper towels. As crazy as that sounds, it will happen. And then you will be prying your seeds out of the paper towel, and it will likely damage your seed coat. So y'all just don't do that. Wax paper, parchment paper, you see that it's already trying to stick, and when they dry into that, it is no fun. And you see I already have a lot of the ooey gooey on this, and it is literally that easy. The last thing I want to say about these seeds is they will stay just like this with a index card stuck right under here, and these seeds are going to have airflow from the top and from the bottom. But that's not good enough. These seeds that I can go through and run my hands and get them as flat layered as I can, and that's what I do, but it's still not good enough. Tomorrow morning, I will go to my seeds. Now, I want to show y'all this because this is very important. I have learned this with seed keeping, especially your heftier seeds. I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to go in. They're going to be drier, but they're still going to be damp. And let me tell you how to help you get them even drier. Is take your hands and you're going to run them through your seeds, move them all around every which way. Some of them are going to try to want to be stuck together. Just use your fingers and unstick them, and then you're going to come back through and you're going to flatten them back out. And you need to do that a couple of times until you do not feel any dampness on your seeds anymore. Once you get to that point, you don't really have to flip your seeds anymore. That's what I call flipping my seeds. You don't really have to flip your seeds anymore after you don't feel any dampness, okay? Then you still are gonna want to leave them for several more weeks. Make sure that they are fully dried, because who knows what happens if you stick damp seeds in a Ziploc bag or a paper sack or somewhere where the airflow is constricted. Y'all know this. They will rot. Yes, they will mold, they will rot, and they will be no good. So this is the easy way, y'all. It is so easy. Now I will literally stick that on my table anywhere inside. Guys, y'all can take these. I've actually used container lids before with parchment paper before I had a dehydrator, and put that parchment paper down, put my seeds over on that, slid them under my bed, slid them back out. I put them on the tops of refrigerators, washing machines and dryers. I mean, like, you name it, and I have done that. Just make sure you're going and you're flipping those seeds, and until you feel that they're not damp anymore. About 2 days, 3 days maybe. When they're not damp anymore, leave them for about 2 more weeks at least. Make sure that they're fully dry. Then if you have paper sacks, go ahead and pop your seeds over into a paper sack or some type of storage. I typically use Ziploc bags. If you can store them in a cabinet, a dark cabinet, or somewhere where it's cool or dark, or some people do freezers, y'all. You could put them in there and put them in the freezer. Anywhere that's cool or dark, just don't put them in a Ziploc bag and like leave them on your kitchen counter, okay? I have a cabinet full of seeds that I will usually pull my containers out, put my Ziploc bags in there, I put it back in there, close it back off, and of course it's inside so it stays cool. But if you need to leave them on the counter, or you have a shelf that's out with a window or whatever, you can just put them in a brown paper sack, something like that, to help keep the sun off of them, because sunlight will cause this seed coat to break down. It's just not good on the seed. So guys, that is today's live. I personally don't. Some people do on the lowest setting. I personally don't. Some people have even said that they put them in their oven and just left their oven open. I just don't. I have always done it the really old-fashioned way and just left them out to dry. So I guess that really depends on your personal preference. If your dehydrator gets too hot, though, it will damage your seed, which is one of the main reasons. Even on my lowest setting, my dehydrator still gets pretty warm, and I suppose you could put them in there and leave the top off. Here's another thing to think about if you're doing like little bitty seeds like tomato. These would probably be okay because they're a little bit heavier, they're a little bit bigger. But y'all, when you start talking about tomato seeds are like 1/4 of this, and my dehydrator pushes from the back, not up. So when I slide my tray in, the air is pushed from this way, and once those seeds get dry, the air is gonna blow them because they're so tiny and they're so little. So just keep those things in mind. If your dehydrator heats from the top or from the bottom, you might not have an issue. I just can't do that because, for one thing, it would be not even questionable if my kids went in there and played with my knob on my dehydrator, and one click too far and I've heated my seeds too much, and then they would be ruined and I would have wasted everything. And also because mine pushes the air from the back, and those really light seeds will would go flying everywhere. So y'all, good video. Lots and lots of knowledge in this book. This is not something that I have been doing this for a really long time, but it's not something that I just picked up by just picking it up, right? It took saying, okay, this year, and I told y'all in the very beginning, it's very easy to get overwhelmed because, yes, pumpkin seeds, when pumpkin season is over, you can literally cut them out, wash them, dry them, put them up, and you're done. It's not that easy with all seeds, because I told at the very beginning, some of y'all that were not on here, parsley and carrots are some of those that only go to seed every 2 years. The only way to know that is to say you planted parsley and you think it's going to be like basil and going to go to seed and you're going to get your parsley seeds. It doesn't work like that. I always say, okay, well, I've mastered this and this and this. Now I want to move on to this, this, and this. But don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't plant everything and then say, I'm going to get every single seed from every single one of them, because it might overwhelm you a little bit too much. Just plan to do like 1 or 2 or 3 a season. And once you like do it, y'all, then you know how to do it. But don't be scared to do it. And a lot of knowledge, you could literally, like, I'm not affiliated with this book, y'all. I'm just telling you, this is where I learned from. Because a lot of people will either email me, or I have people that will text me or whatever, messenger apps and stuff, asking questions. And I'm like, I can't answer everybody's questions, but it's literally right here. Yes, the seed exchange, I don't have a lot of experience with them, but I do know that they're a really great place to reach out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think their seeds that you can buy from them are really, really inexpensive. But as I told y'all earlier, Survival Garden Seeds has really, really reasonable prices as well. And every packet, y'all, has seed keeping instructions. And to me, that was like a make or break deal for me. And I have had the privilege to meet Jason. He's the owner, and it's a family business, y'all. He and his brother, and it was multiple children, but he and his brother, they were taught this. All of their children were taught this. They come from a really big family, and they were taught this growing up. So they decided to take what they learned growing up, a skill that they had, and made it a business. And I think that's phenomenal. I think that's just fantastic. So guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed this today, doing the how-to live. I really wanted to jump on and talk to y'all and share some things, but I also needed to do this too. So I thought, you know what, I will just do a how-to today. So I know it's a little bit different, but I hope y'all learned something. I'm gonna keep tossing these. There's a lot of stuff you can do with pumpkin seeds. There's a couple that stay in here. We don't ever waste. I want y'all to see this right here. All of this will go to our animals for animal feed. So instead of them, this was what I did yesterday, but I didn't get all of them done. So that's what I was telling y'all. I had to come out here and finish these up. These are my last 2, and I'm very, very excited. Now I have hundreds of seeds, whether I want to use them to worm, whether I want to roast them and eat them because they are so, so healthy for you and your animals, or if I want to keep a portion of them and say, these are going to be what we plant for next year. I've done the work to get the seeds out, washed them, dry them, and now they're at my disposal for my benefit. So that's really what it's all about. And guys, thank you so much. If you want to know more about seed keeping, as I told y'all, I'm not affiliated with this book. This is just the book I'm recommending because it's the one that I had that taught me over the years. As you can see, I've made notes. I mean, y'all, it didn't just pop in my head. I studied, I did the work, and I love it. It's our lifestyle, and it's what we enjoy doing. So guys, I am going to get off so I can finish cleaning up my mess. I have a few more things that have to get done before we do church tonight. And I do have a couple of videos I really want to get out, one this weekend and maybe a couple of next week. So y'all hang tight. Thank y'all for always popping on and joining. Until next time, God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.